For me, it's more the reassurance that I've given him the best environment I can. I feel very calm that when he's here, it's very, very clean all the way through. The air is more clean. There's no kind of risk of mould. Whenever you're looking into design of anything, it's always time, quality and cost. This was the one for me that kind of did all three. Time-wise, they were there when I needed them. This was the middle of winter. These were sent within a week and the Sparky installed them probably in 2 days. That was it. It was so simple. The cost was minimal. There's no more pipes throughout the whole thing. It was just a quick install. And then quality, it's a nice, comfortable heat that we're in. It's not overwhelming. It's not stuffy. It's more safe for my son all the way through. The air quality is better. So that's why obviously this was an easy choice for me. My name is Dave Lee, and 2 years ago when we were in this house, the boiler broke and so did the water tank as well. So what we were doing was looking for a new heating system anyway. And I worked at the time for Clarion Housing Group, which was it's the largest housing association in the land, as part of their innovation team. Okay, so part of my job was actually go around and find innovative technologies and new kind of equipment and tech for homes. Okay, and we stumbled across the infrared heating system from Herschel. Now, the benefits of that I didn't quite know at the time. What we did was install panels everywhere across the home, ripped out all of the pipework, and the gas was capped, so there's no gas across the whole property. It's all electric. And then following that, I added the electric water heater as well and the photovoltaics on the roof. The main reason why I got that was actually my son, who has cystic fibrosis. Now that, for those who don't know, it's a more respiratory disease than anything else, or risk. So he needs a steady temperature, but also it's all about air quality as well. So his biggest risk is getting an infection in his lungs. And one of the major causes, like mould, is warm circulated damp air. So when you have a radiator in your house, it's warming up all of the air, it's making moisture, and what we've done is take that completely out. We tried everything. We had heated blankets for him, we had massive duvets, everything, 2 pajamas now and again, but nothing kind of worked. This one works for him, and it gives us that little flexibility to go forward. My son needs constant temperature of over 18 degrees. In the winter, if you're trying to heat up the whole house to 18 to 20 degrees all the way through the night, 24/7, we just couldn't afford it, even though gas was less expensive than electric. So this system allows me just to switch on 1 panel overnight for him, which is minimal kind of kilowattage hours of 1 panel on through the night. Okay, now I'm not saying that he's completely safe, this is better than a hospital or anything like that, but it gives me the peace of mind that the environment that he's in here is healthier than what it would have been if it was just a gas combi boiler going forward. We've had this for 2 years. I've not seen any mould anywhere. There's no, as you can see on the windows, no condensation that we get. Even on, I think you've come on one of the coldest days of the year so far. The infrared panels just offered me a nice, easy way of saying clean environment, very safe, very simple. You know, it's just a couple of switches and then that's it. And also offers me something which is kind of invaluable for living with this. And what I mean by that is individual rooms all the way through can be heated at different temperatures very easily. Not like your old system where you have maybe an upstairs and a downstairs differently. This is every room, every panel can be different. And the reason being is I don't have cystic fibrosis. I don't need to be heated to 20 degrees every single day all the time, and definitely not through the night, whereas he does. So what I can do is set his bedroom to a certain level, keep it through that all through the night. Mine is whatever I like, and if I've got any guests, they can have their own temperature as well. That thing for me is massive. Like I said, we've been living it with for 2 years now. No complaints whatsoever. And I was scared that my heating bill would rise because electric is, or was 2 years ago, 3 times, 4 times more than gas. I'm actually happy to say it's dropped quite substantially by about £600 a year over the time. And that's mainly to do with the PV on the roof, using the electric water heater, and a split tariff as well. So I can actually put the electricity on during the night, heat up the actual house, heat up the water, and then during the day I'm just using the solar panels for my electrical needs. So it's a lot cheaper. It lasts a lot longer. If you think how long a boiler will last you, 15 years maximum from there. And you've got to change it all again, you've got to change the pipe work, you've got to change the water tank, everything like that. These are just a single panel if you need to. And how often does your light break? You know, it doesn't. It's very reliable all the way through. So I went to the design team 2.5 years ago, and what they did was they transposed their design onto my plans straight away. They told me how many kind of units I would need, whether I need one big one in the lounge or whether I need 7 or 8 little ones knocking about. They told me how far to space them from each one, and they also gave me the spec for the Sparky, the electrician, to say this is what you need for your circuit breakers, this is what you need for your RCB out the front, etc. And the back box looks like this. Yeah. Also little things like they went to the detail of the fixing detail. Okay, do I need an extra joist in there to actually fix up to? And they went to that extent way beyond what I would expect from a normal manufacturer. You won't get that from a light switch manufacturer, for instance, right? So I thought they were brilliant from start to finish. I knew I wanted panels on the ceiling instead of the walls itself because of that flexibility, you know, if I wanted to knock down a wall here and there. The ceiling made a lot more sense, that you get a better spread of heat as well, and that freedom of the walls. This space, we've done quite a bit of work already on this renovation. There is an intention to go further with extensions, but what these panels offered on the ceiling was wall space. Okay, so what I wanted to do, or the vision, is to turn this quite open plan, which quite a lot of people want to do nowadays. But if you imagine big bifolds and knocking big holes in the wall, there's not much space for radiators. There's also not much space for pipework to go to, whereas your ceiling is just open route for everything. And we're talking about wires here, not pipes. So you're not chopping through joists or anything like that. It's just simple wiring with a little back box above the panel. Okay, so I can be as free as I like to with my design of this house. Yeah, and extend it or change it however I like going forward. When we installed the panels, like I said, the panels were first to get the heating. The next step was to add the Mixergy tank, which is in the loft. What I found though was the benefit of the smart use of the Mixergy tank. Okay, so I could not only just put my water heating on in the morning when the tariff was a lot cheaper, but it's also been hooked up to the photovoltaics as well. So during the day, if I want to put my water on, it's free. It's free energy that's pumping into there. So it's actually got 2 sections to the water tank. So I can heat just half of the tank of water, or I can heat all of it together. Now that for me is huge, because that tank is equipped for a 4-bedroom house, which is it. But there's only me and my 6-year-old son who live here 90% of the time. So I only actually heat up half of the water requirement that I have the capability for. Saves me a massive amount of time and everything else, and money for doing that. I use that smart app all the time. It's just so simple for us. It's on a timer. If I need a little boost of water heating, or if I want to switch both filaments on because my parents are coming down or something like that, I can do it with my phone, 2 seconds. I can do it when I'm out, and that works with the panels at the same time. Very effective when you're coming home, switching it on with your phone. And the big thing I find with these is it doesn't take 2-3 hours to warm up your house. As soon as you walk under one of these panels, you feel warm instantaneously. So you don't have to have it on for loads of time. Yeah, it's way more efficient. Yeah, so our water heating has been brilliant, no problems whatsoever. The actual environment heating, perfect throughout. And then the added bonus, like I say, you don't have to have the solar panels with it. During my time at Clarion, obviously, we couldn't just focus on infrared heating panels. We had to look at every heating system available. Whenever you're looking into design of anything, it's always time, quality and cost. I looked at heat pumps, both ground and air source heat pumps. We looked at just direct electric heaters, aka radiators, even to the extent of just looking at electric blankets. more than anything. And it didn't have to be just electric as well. Looked at all the kind of things that gas would offer, and even kind of going down to the biomass level, and exploring that kind of element. This was the one for me that kind of did all three. Time-wise, they were there when I needed them. This was the middle of winter. Try and get a boiler repair person in the middle of winter, it's very difficult. Whereas these were sent within a week, and a Sparky installed them probably in 2 days. That was it. It was so simple to put in. It actually took us longer to rip out the radiators than it did to install the panels. The cost was minimal, because like I said, there's no more pipes throughout the whole thing. It was just a quick install. And then quality, I've already kind of explained. It's a nice, comfortable heat that we're in. It's not overwhelming, it's not stuffy. It's more safe for my son all the way through. The air quality is better. And it's going to last me, certainly since for my life of this house and beyond. If there is a fault, it's only one panel that gets changed. It's not going to be a full system kind of reboot. So that's why obviously this was an easy choice for me. Herschel were actually introduced to me via Clarion. Okay, via our process of looking for the leading kind of infrared panel system that we had. Herschel were our best because they just gave us the confidence that the product would actually match what they've said. They had all of the data there, which we were mad keen on, because for the housing association, it was more about longevity and quality in use rather than the installation cost. I'm not saying that Herschel's the cheapest on the market, it's probably not, but long term it is by far the better quality. And it was more of a trustworthy brand that we had more than anything else. So like I say, they backed it up with the data, they backed it up with everything that they had in the factory and everything else. It was very impressive. I've had no complaints whatsoever. Everybody actually compliments it when they come in. Everybody always mentions as soon as they walk in the house, they're nice and cozy and warm instantaneously. I'd love to say that I've seen a change in my son's health, but obviously there's no scientific comparison to say he's lived in a different environment, therefore he would have been different. But for me, it's more the reassurance that I've given him the best environment I can. I feel very calm that when he's here, it's very, very clean all the way through. The air is more clean, there's no kind of risk of mould, which has been a big thing in the housing associations at the minute. The infrared panels help exponentially from that. There is no moisture going around the air, there's no recirculation of the air from there. It's just a single heat, and it's nice. To be honest, it's a more comfortable heat, I think.